Welcome to Love Your Coaching. I'm Charlie, and today we're going to talk about the whole end stage of a longer coaching session. This builds on the previous video that you would see in this playlist, which just focused on the actions stage of the end bit of a coaching session. So, if you have a relatively short coaching session, perhaps 30 minutes or less, then these stages are pretty well what you need. Just focusing on the actions. And you remember from the last video talking about actions, commitment, obstacles, and impact. This is a really good ending of a shorter coaching session. And after they've explored the actions, then they can move straight on to appreciation and ending the session. But if you've got a bit longer, and if perhaps it's been a bit thornier and a bit meatier, then all of these four aspects, the actions, can be bundled up, but then be made just part of the end bit of the coaching session. So let's set the scene. You've got a coaching session. It's 45 minutes long. It's an hour long. And you get towards about 10 minutes to go, 12 minutes to go. So you say to your coachee, okay, coming towards an end now, let's really make this end bit a bit focused for us both. So you might then say, let's get into the actions now. Let's talk about the actions and ask some or all of these areas so that those actions are really organized and really well pinned down. But then on top of these actions, you think, well, what else can we do? You know, we've really explored and we want the coachee to leave getting those actions well embedded. But there's more that we can do. And there's definitely more if we've got a bit of time. So we can take our coachee back to the beginning of the coaching session. And we can say, you wanted this outcome, didn't you? You were focusing on X outcome or Y outcome, or you wanted to achieve this at the beginning of the coaching session. How much have you managed to achieve what you wanted to achieve? So, for example, if they have said that where they want to be is they want to be confident in an upcoming conversation, that they want to know strategies for getting prepared for a job interview, that they want to have a 3-point plan or something of that nature, they'll be able to say, yeah, well, I'm nearly there, or I'm fully there, or I'm absolutely there. It's a really helpful addition to exploring the actions. As an alternative, or as an addition to this, we can also ask what sometimes we refer to as the metacognitive question, to ask them what they've learned about themselves. If it's been a good coaching session, a long coaching session, it's quite likely that our coachee would have had some thoughts, would have had some ideas, perhaps some feelings, and they would have noticed something about themselves. It might be something positive. It might be something challenging, but probably mostly it's just something interesting. The fact that they've thought, oh yeah, actually I am better than I thought I was, or I do worry a lot about what, or I can do this if I focus, or just goodness me, I've got lots of thoughts about this, haven't I? We're asking this question in an open, in a non-judgmental way, and I think it's really good to ask it not in an apologetic way, not in, oh, I'm hoping that you've learned something, or I'm wondering if you learned anything. Just asking it straightforward. What's happened today that's give you some learning about yourself? So those three areas, they are encouraging reflection. The first one obviously is encouraging action. The second two are encouraging more reflection about what they're taking away from the session. And we could end here. We could say, thank you very much. We hope it feels really complete and let's be done. But I think there's a really nice extra bit here. And it's this extra bit of acknowledgement. The idea of acknowledgement is that we're not suddenly becoming their teacher or their line manager. We're not starting to evaluate them. We're not going to say, oh, I think you've done some brilliant actions, or you've been really wise, or anything of that nature. But the fact is, our coachee has worked hard. Our coachee has really pushed on themselves, and they've really thought in a great deal of detail about what they wanted to work on. So some acknowledgement of what they've done in their session, some appreciation of the efforts that they've made, and perhaps an observation of if it was challenging. We might say something like, you know, you've done really deep here in today's session, or, you know, I know there were some challenging bits here, weren't there? There was a bit of upset around and you kept going, and I really appreciate that, and thank you for that. So it's not an evaluation, but it's an acknowledgement. And generally, our coachee will say something nice in return, and generally they'll have a bit of a discussion. And then finally, we need to complete, don't we? We need to, this word closing, we need to get them to go out of the room. So one of two things that I do, I sometimes ask a question that implies it's finished. So I might ask something like, so how do you feel now we've finished our coaching session? And then that closes the session and says, okay, it's done. Or I sometimes ask a question that shows we're done after the acknowledgement. I might say, so now we're done. Just really interested, what you got going on for the rest of today, or what have you got coming up, or what are you looking forward to? Something that takes them out of the coaching room and to the end of the day. So you don't have to use all of these 4 stages in that order. It's good to keep them clear. You can do the initial outcome circling back before the actions. You can do the learning before the actions. The order doesn't really matter, but I think it is important to have a good and a clear order. Obviously, the acknowledgement needs to sit at the end, of course, so that makes sense. So I've shared a way of structuring and organizing if you have a 1 hour or so coaching session, and giving a whole bunch of mini stages to that end stage to make it really rich, to make it really meaningful. We want our coachee to leave the session confident that A, they will do their actions, and B, that the thinking and the ongoing reflection is going to carry on. I hope you find that useful. I'd love to know how you get on. If this is a new approach for you, it would be great to hear how it worked for you. So do let us know. Good luck with it. Good luck with starting and ending your coaching sessions, and happy coaching.